Hi there, I hope you are doing fine. Today I want to share with you some tips on how you hand pollinate your squash. Sometimes you realize that your squash they are not forming. This is because pollination has not taken place. These are butternuts. Now, sometimes the reason is that you do not have enough insects that travel from one flower to the other flower, and so pollen doesn't move from the male flower to the female flower to pollinate the female flower. So in that incident, when you do not have such, it means that you will not have your squash. It's the same with pumpkins and the butternuts. It's always the same. So you got to have a lot of insects or beneficial insects like the bees that travels around, move around the plants, and then they carry pollen by their feet, and then they drop it where they're supposed to be. But in that case where you do not have, or there are not enough insects that travel from one place to the other, you can do the hand pollination. This is what I'm going to show you today. First of all, you need to be able to identify the male flower and the female flower. So this is the female flower. As you can see, it has a butternut down there. All right. So, and then even the way it looks from inside, you realize that it is different. The way it appears, you see it is shaped in a different way. So it is actually different. So as you can see inside there, so I hope you, yeah, there. So now you have identified your female plant. You need to be able to identify your male plant. So your male plant looks like something like this. Okay, it's tall and slender. Normally it appears first under normal circumstances. It should appear first. The reason why it appears first is because it attracts the bees and other beneficial insects. But I have also noted that if you are dealing with the GMO seeds, you have a reverse order of things, a confusion of the highest order. That is, you realize that the male flower comes later after the female flower. That's a confusion for sure, because even in the Garden of Eden, we know that man was created first and then women some hours later, or few minutes or few hours later, but it was on the same day. But now here we see that the male flower comes first. So if you are dealing with GMO, you realize that the female flower will come first, and then you have a problem because you will not have a male flower to pollinate a female flower. So that is first thing that you need to understand. So identify the male flower, which is slender and tall. It is like that. It is created like that. God allows it to be like that so that it can be up and attract more insects that will later pollinate the female flower. Okay, so how do we pollinate the female flower? So I'm going to pick my flower here, and yeah, I've done this several times. So you can actually see that even the inside of it differs. The other one has three things inside. Here it has only one thing inside. And then I need to remove this. Let me just quickly remove it. I'll show you now because I'm holding a camera at the same time. Okay, so now I've tried to remove the petals backward, just to allow, you see the powder is flying out as the wind blows. So I need to bring it inside here, inside the female flower. You see, I want the powder to go inside, so I need just to rub it a little bit without breaking the female flower petals. Yeah, so that's it, and then you leave it, you throw it out, and actually you realize that if your hand pollination was successful, you start seeing your squash growing bigger and bigger. Eventually this thing will close by the end of the day. So it has only a certain window period when it's open, and then it closes. Once it closes, you cannot do anything. But I have tried actually to attempt that, and it seems it worked. For example, my flowers opened on the Sabbath, right? Yeah, it opened in the Sabbath morning, and obviously I don't attend to gardening things on Saturday. So later, after Sabbath sunset, I came and I found that it has already closed, and I eventually, pollinated it, tried to open it a little bit and rubbed it. It still grew and it was fertilized. I'll show you that butternut very soon. Okay, so let me just quickly show you now. This is the one that was hand pollinated just 3 days ago. Okay, 3-4 days ago. Okay, here it is. So you can actually see this was hand pollinated. Okay, this one and this one. So you can actually see the progress that it is growing. As soon as the pollination has been successful, it will continue to grow and become big. Okay, so that's what happened. So however, the squash, they are different from the span spark. Okay, let me just quickly show you the span spark now. Okay, here are the span spark. They're also growing in pots. I like it here because I think they are much better in pots. Of course, you can also grow it on the ground. I'm still trying to grow it on the ground as well, but for now I prefer to keep them in the pots. So this is a span spark. So as you can see, this one is showing flower, but the principle is the same, because as you can see here, you see this already tells you that this is a male flower. Okay, and next to it you see a female flower, just a tiny there. You see this is a male flower, this is the female flower that is coming there. So this one I've noted you don't need to do anything. Number one, because it has a small thing, you cannot do that. So this one, it's self-pollinated. It's self-pollinated. It does pollinate itself. Whether you do it or you don't do it, it will still fertilize itself. I'm saying that because I've observed some of them, and I have already one which is already having big squash. Big melon. So this one is the same as the cucumber. The cucumber also, they have small flowers and they do self-pollinate. You don't need to do anything. And also the insect, they get to run around in there and go. But I've noted that even without insects, they still do that. Okay, for example, this is a cucumber. Okay, this is a cucumber also growing in pot. As you can see here. Now, very interesting enough, there's a cucumber there. But you see, with God, there's a way how He has created things. And this is one thing that God says we should take our children in nature, we should take our children in the garden to show them of the love of God and how He does things. This actually, revive our faith and hope in God. Because if you look at this one, there is no male flower on this cucumber. Nothing at all. Nothing came out. But we have a female one. We have a cucumber already. So I was worried. I looked at this one and said, how will this cucumber be fertilized if there's no, male flower? But yeah, I learned from nature again, lesson from nature, that somehow, somewhere, it doesn't need, well, whether it doesn't need or there's a miracle that God does, but yeah, I realized that it's fertilized and it's growing very big, and yeah, you can actually see it's getting there. So we thank God for that. Now let me quickly show you something. Of course, you have seen this. Some of you have seen this. These are span spark as well. Okay, I've put them like the other one in pots. They are branching off from the pots, and they've covered this area now. So, for example, like I said, you see their flowers, they are very tiny, so they do the things by themselves. Okay, so you can actually see there, that's a span spark that is growing out there. And then we have another one there, down there. Then we have another big one which is already turning into whitish kind of down there. I hope you can see it. It's somewhere there, yeah, there. So in all this, it's very interesting because we get to learn about how God have arranged, things. I get to learn that this is how we differ as human beings, just like plants. In the eyes of God, He deals with us differently. The way He has made the cucumber is not the way that He made the span spark. It's not the way that He made the butternut and stuff like that. So we are all like, plants in God's garden. Okay, this is the butternut I was telling you. Okay, it's now strong and hard, so I need just to pick it up. Okay, so I tried it after it has closed the petal the other time. Then it got fertilized. Now it's strong, so I just need to remove it. Yeah, so I hope you have learned how to fertilize your squash using hands or hand pollination. Yeah, as for the other things like this one, you don't need to worry about them. They can We leave it to nature, that nature deal with itself. For now, it's bye-bye.